Picture this. You wake up on what seems like an ordinary Tuesday morning in 79 AD. The Mediterranean sun filters through your villa's windows, casting familiar shadows across the mosaic floors your grandfather laid with his own hands. You can smell fresh bread from the bakery down the street, hear the gentle clatter of cartwheels on worn stone, and feel the soft rumble beneath your feet that you've grown so accustomed to, you barely notice it anymore. After all, you live in the shadow of Vesuvius, that gentle, vine-covered mountain that provides such fertile soil for your grapes and olives. What you don't know, as you reach for your morning wine and honey cakes, is that this Tuesday will be your last. This is Pompeii, August 24th, and time is about to stop forever. For 17 years, the earth had been whispering warnings. Small tremors rattled pottery in kitchens, sent nervous slaves scurrying to steady oil lamps, and occasionally knocked a fresco or two from villa walls. But Pompeians were practical people. Earthquakes were simply part of life, like taxes or the occasional plague. They patched their walls, swept up the broken pottery, and got on with the important business of living. The city hummed with the comfortable rhythms of prosperity, fishermen hauling in their dawn catch, merchants haggling over Syrian silk, children playing dice games in dusty courtyards, and lovers meeting secretly in garden alcoves heavy with jasmine. On this particular morning, Marcus Attilius might have been checking the aqueducts that brought fresh mountain water to the city's fountains and baths. The Roman engineer had recently arrived to investigate some troubling drops in water pressure, never suspecting that the mountain itself was slowly choking off its own springs. Meanwhile, in the Villa of the Papyri, scholars were carefully copying Greek philosophical texts, their reed pens scratching thoughtfully across papyrus scrolls, preserving wisdom for what they assumed would be countless generations to come. How beautifully naive, really, as if volcanic ash cares about Aristotle or Epicurus. The gladiator barracks buzzed with pre-training energy. Men who had survived countless battles, who knew intimately the weight of bronze and the taste of fear, were sharpening swords and adjusting leather armor, joking about upcoming matches they would never fight. In the brothels along the Via dell'Abbondanza, walls covered in cheeky graffiti, Restituta takes off her tunic for 2 coins, and Marcus loves Spendusa, bore witness to the timeless human need for connection, even the paid kind. Love, lust, ambition, worry, hope, all the messy, beautiful complications of being human, thriving in the shadow of sleeping death. Then, around noon, Vesuvius cleared its throat. The mountain had been relatively quiet for centuries, so long that most residents had forgotten it was a volcano at all. Sure, there were those old stories their grandparents told about ancient eruptions, but those felt as distant and mythical as tales of gods walking among mortals. The first explosion sent a column of ash and pumice shooting 20 miles into the sky. Imagine a mushroom cloud of gray-white death, beautiful and terrible, blotting out the sun and turning day into an eerie, apocalyptic twilight. At first, some people actually climbed onto their rooftops to get a better look. Human curiosity, our greatest gift and most dangerous flaw, drew them outside just as the mountain began to rain destruction. The initial fallout was light pumice, porous volcanic rock no heavier than modern-day styrofoam. Annoying, certainly. Enough to make you pull your toga over your head and hurry for shelter, but not immediately deadly. Many Pompeians probably thought they could wait it out indoors, playing dice, telling stories, sharing what might be their last meals without knowing it. But Vesuvius wasn't finished. Not even close. As afternoon melted into evening, the ash grew heavier, the stones larger. Roofs began collapsing under the weight. Imagine trying to support 3 feet of concrete on structures designed for Mediterranean breezes and gentle rain. Families huddled together in sturdy rooms, parents holding children close, whispering reassurances they didn't quite believe themselves. Some tried to flee, wrapping themselves in cloth and pushing through the storm of falling stone. Others stayed, perhaps paralyzed by disbelief or simply unable to imagine leaving everything they had ever known. The real killer came in the early hours of August 25th, pyroclastic flows, superheated clouds of gas, ash, and rock racing down the mountainside at over 100 miles per hour. These weren't just hot, they were furnace hot, nearly 1,300 degrees Fahrenheit. Death would have been instantaneous for most, a small mercy in an otherwise merciless disaster. The flows preserved everything in their path like a snapshot frozen in time, a dog straining against its chain, a family embracing, a man covering his face, a pregnant woman curled protectively around her unborn child. And so Pompeii slept. For 17 centuries, the city lay buried under 20 feet of volcanic debris, its stories silenced, its people frozen in their final moments. When excavations began in the 1700s, archaeologists didn't just find buildings and pottery, they found life itself, preserved in heartbreaking detail. The plaster casts we see in museums today are essentially ancient people, their bodies long since decomposed but their final positions captured forever in the ash that killed them. Perhaps there's something oddly comforting about Pompeii's tragedy. In a world where we're constantly told that nothing lasts, that everything changes, that progress erases the past, here's a place where time simply stopped. Where ordinary people living ordinary lives were granted a kind of accidental immortality. Their morning routines, their love affairs, their business deals, their family dinners, all preserved not despite the volcano, but because of it. Tonight, as you drift off to sleep, remember Pompeii. Not as a cautionary tale about nature's power, but as a reminder of how precious and fleeting our ordinary moments truly are. Sweet dreams.